Good afternoon, everybody. Hello and welcome along to the afternoon rabble. Plenty to talk about for a change. Not just going over the same old stuff, although we will still do that. We will still absolutely do that. Joining me today is Aaron. Aaron, how are you?
I'm good, Martin. Yourself?
Well, I'm very good because you're struggling with the who am I. So I think
Yeah.
that other people might struggle.
That doesn't say much, to be honest, but yeah.
Well, I'm hoping so because they all hit the huff yesterday because they couldn't get it. So, how are you anyway? How's things, mate?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Just school routines and everything like that. My wife was in the hospital, so she got out yesterday, so it's made my life a little bit easier. So
Well, that's what happens when you have 147 kids.
yeah, definitely. Definitely that's the problem with that, isn't it?
Well, see, my daughter's 10, so I drop her off at school and now I've started walking during the day. Um, so I get a lot of time to myself, which is quite handy. It's quite handy.
I treasure the 6 hour time that they're in school for sure. I try and get as much done as I can, so just
It goes
relax.
quick, but then at the school day
It has
goes quick.
too quick. Too
Um,
quick.
and it's not that. So about 4 months ago, my daughter says, "My school's about a mile away, just over a mile."
Mhm.
And she said to me, because she turned 10, and she went, "Right, can I start walking home from school?" And of course I said no.
Yeah.
But my missus says, "No, no, okay, fine. We'll let her do it." So that lasted about a week. And then she went, "Oh, can you just come back and pick me up, Dad?" Oh, so she enjoyed the freedom for about a week before she realised that it was too much hassle to walk. So now I need to go. And you know what it's like parking outside a school when it's time to
Oh,
pick
yes.
up the reins. It's a nightmare, man.
It really is, yeah. It is. So I usually park. We've got a pharmacy beside my daughter's school. And we usually park there, but someone, I don't know how they did it. It's quite impressive. Drove through the pharmacy last week, so it's all shut off. So it makes it even harder now to get parked and stuff. So yeah, it's like just trying to find a space is nuts.
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. And because of where we need to park, it's on a street, obviously. Um,
Mm.
so you're outside people's houses and you can see them sometimes just looking out the window at you and you're going, well, where else do you want me to park? Um, but yeah, how is everybody? Get your comments in. Like I say, this is tomorrow actually is the penultimate afternoon rabble. I'm going to see if I can't get a nice wee intro for Friday. Um, I'm thinking about a wee Nickelback song. In fact, that's a good question. It's just came in my head because I'm a content creator, Aaron. Right, so these things just come to me. Um, if you've got a song you would like us to play on the outro of the afternoon rabble, either get it in the live chat or get it in the comments after this is finished, and I'll completely ignore it and play what I want to play. But get the comments in. Get the comments in. And yeah, I'm delighted to see that Finlay Curtis has signed a new contract. We will talk about that. We absolutely will talk about that. Afternoon Venkman, afternoon Gaz. Um, I was like a minute late. I was a minute late. Jeez, oh, I can see when this goes to just members. See if the members carry this on. Honestly, I will do nothing. Um, Martin the Rabbler is never late. Her arrives. I mean, Geordie, if you're going to slag me, get your England right. Um, you know what I mean? And multiple man coming in with a question today for a who am I? No, multiple man. That's not how it works. You answer my questions. My questions. Um, which you didn't manage yesterday, and everybody hit the huff, which I was quite happy about. People are already guessing who it is. Martin Boyle. I think when you hear the who am I think you might have a slightly different
That's a bit far
answer.
off. Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
just just a tad.
Just like
Paul Martin's question of the day, I think he means the who am I will be. I once played football and scored a goal. Who am I? Well, m- multiple man would probably still get it.
yeah.
But anyway, folks. Okay. Courtesy of Aaron today, it's time for this.
It's the question, it's the question, it's the question of the day. If you love a good question, then we're coming your way with the question of the day. Question of the day.
Now, this is a question that could probably take half an hour just between me and Aaron, to be brutally honest with you. And it's not usually a question that I would ask, but as Aaron said, with the links to Ryan Kent and Nikola Katic, going back for old players, today's question of the day is simply, if you could pick any Rangers player from history to drop into this current team, who would you pick? One player, you've only got one player. Who would you pick to play in this current team? In their prime, obviously. In their prime. And Aaron, as it's your question, I will take your answer first.
God rest his soul, but I would take Rickson. I think we need somebody at the back who isn't afraid to make sure that they're known. Our back line, it's no secret that they're struggling at the moment, and we haven't got an enforcer style player. So no one to fear, really. So mine's definitely would be Rickson, especially currently. What about you, Martin?
Out of all the players you could pick, you pick Rickson. That's a strange one.
Yeah, well, you look at Butcher, you look at, the ones that weren't afraid to get stuck in. But growing up for me, Rickson was the main man at the back, and obviously our captain in the sort of glory days, if you like. So growing up and watching him command the field and from defence, like what he was able to do and as a defender and get his point across even up to the strikers and things, that takes a man with a voice, and as we touched on and you have touched on previously on the pod, is we don't have that at the moment. We don't have someone that's going to scream up, run up the length of the pitch just to scream in someone's face and say you should have done that better or you should have done that. And Rickson was very much that character.
Well, there's only really one answer, and Cammie's got it spot on. It's got to be Sibo, innit? It's got to be Sibo. There's no other option. It has to be Philip Sibo. No, but in all seriousness, I think if you're looking at the Rangers team right now, you're asking yourself, right, what do we need more than anything else? What is the one thing that we need? And I would have to say, even though I kind of only seen the end of his career, I would probably go Richard Goff.
Yeah.
Probably go Richard Goff, to be fair. We need that. And Gaza said that. Who else? Andrews said Richard Goff. Brian has said Richard Goff. And not just because I said it, but they're right. But I do like this suggestion for Stephen Colt. Magic Beguera, I think, would suit this team really well.
Yeah, he was a good player. He was very underrated, I thought, when he was there. But, there was many players that have come through the ranks at Rangers that have maybe been forgotten about because of the quality players that we had. Do you know what I mean, at that time? So, yeah, I would say that's a good shout, especially a underrated shout.
Yeah. And even Stephen Robertson's agreeing it's got to be Sibo.
Only one
Yeah.
player.
But, I mean, Jacob and the Star-Eyed Shadows, Barry Ferguson, I thought would have been a more popular answer than what it has been. It's not really been in the comments that much. But, I mean, Barry Ferguson's a good shout, but as a midfielder, really, if you could only make, I say if you could only make one transfer, we've only made one transfer and it was a loan, but if you could only make one transfer right now and it was a historical Rangers player, would Barry Ferguson be at the top of that list?
I think the comments shows that defenders are what we need right now. And, we've got too many midfielders. We've just had to get rid of Dowell. We're trying to fit in Bailey Rice. We're trying to fit in Lovelace. We're trying to fit in, midfielders left, right, and centre at the moment. So I don't feel that a midfielder is what we need right now. And as I said, the comments tells you that.
Here's a point, by the way, a phenomenal point. In fact, this is comment of the day so far. We won a treble with Rickson and Bob Malcolm in centre mid.
We did, because the quality of players that were around him, it was a togetherness, and obviously Rickson wasn't someone to mess with. Walter Smith as well. It was just the club. That's probably where the club was at the best. In the last 15 years for us anyway, was when we had that stability, and that's all it was, stability. The minute you knew what you were going to get out of them players, and even Bob Malcolm, he wasn't too bad a player. He got a lot of slack because he wasn't as good as the ones around him. But that doesn't mean that he's any less not good. I felt stability is key. And as I say, that's something we don't have at the moment. We don't take someone that's willing to stand up and take control of a game and make things happen. Maybe Egaman at times, but he's kind of looking a bit quiet over the last few games. But we need that,
Well, Paul's saying Negri and Egaman would score hundreds of goals. Yes, they would. Yes, they would. Yeah, 100% they would. Kanchelskis. That's not a name you hear very often, to be honest, and he was a phenomenal player.
Well, again, going back to what I say, these players come into Rangers, they perform well, but they're just outshone by the superstars of that eras. There's plenty of good players we've had in the past, and it's great to see names like that come up again because you do forget about them. They get lost in the crowd.
Listen, multiple man saying that Bob Malcolm was rank rotten. I'll have you know he was excellent in Championship Manager. No, he was. I'm not joking. I
Really?
take my Championship Manager very serious.
No, he was a good player because sometimes it's the players around you can make you into a good player or probably perform better than you thought they could. And we're seeing that now at times. We're seeing partnerships start to form, like your Dio and Raskin. They know what to expect from each other. Dio goes forward, Raskin sits back and allows him that freedom. But when Dio was obviously in centre attacking mid there for a few games, he just got lost in the game because he was wanting to track back as well. And so we're starting to get wee partnerships. We're starting to get people that counter the positives and the negatives for each other, and that's what we need to do going forward.
William, Bob Malcolm and Mark Kerr midfield combo. That was the ultimate Championship Manager midfield combo. By the way, this is another good question. I want to get to some more people's answers, right? But Paul's saying Bob Malcolm or Broadfoot. That's actually a harder question than you think it is because Kirk Broadfoot was a very, very limited footballer, but he always gave you his all and he was a nightmare for opponents.
Yeah, he was a part of a winning team again. He's one of these names that have got multiple successful trophies and campaigns with Rangers. But I'd probably Malcolm at the time. I thought Malcolm was more stuck in, and like you say, he was more. He was able to do different things. Broadfoot just kind of was a one-trick pony, if you like. But Bob Malcolm could get up, back. He wasn't afraid to be here, there, and everywhere.
Well, Richard Allen, listening whilst I get ready for my back shift driving coaches at Parks of Hamilton, but really can't be asked. I didn't last very long at Parks of Hamilton, Richard, because there was a certain guy in the office I didn't like. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to name people on the podcast, Richard, but you'll know who I'm talking about if you work at Parks of Hamilton. Nightmare of a place to work. I'll probably get sued now. Nightmare of a place for me to work, I should say. Right, some more answers for who would you put in this current team? The obvious ones: the Sniper, Ricky, Toronto Bear. Who else? Anybody else? They've all went for Davy Cooper. And I feel a wee bit sorry for Coops because at the early 80s he was playing in a really poor Rangers team. Gaz has went for Super Ali. Again, I don't think we need a striker, but two-time Golden Boot winner. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Baxter, yes, 100%. The Trying Scotsman and Venkman. Laudrup. You would never knock back. You would never knock back Brian Laudrup.
No, and I think just coming to me there, the De Boer brothers. I think they were pretty solid, and you knew what you were getting with them as well. And I've not seen them in the comments yet, which I'm quite surprised about. But yeah, Laudrup, somebody that can create something out of nothing. And I've already said that this morning. That's what we're missing so much right now is creative play on the wings, especially. It's great playing it through, but when we get out wide, you've seen it, final third, we just don't know what to do with it, and they're just wasting possession all the time. And then the corner, we get a corner, and you're dreading it because our set pieces are awful as well. So there's not much creativeness from the wings in particular.
No, and it doesn't help that the winger that was spending $4.5 million on can't stay fit. But I digress. Calvin Bennett also said Barry Ferguson, and I should say Scott Hammond also said Jim Baxter. Now, somebody who most of us probably haven't seen play that much, but Michel Charon, John Gregg, the legend, obviously, he would be the ideal player to put in this Rangers team right now.
Someone that knows the club, someone that loved the club so much, and someone that created the history that we love and adore now, and we look back on, and when a player can do that, it's a no-brainer.
100%. 100%. I'm just looking at some more comments. There's a few people answering your Frank and Ronald answers, but the only person that's went with Gaza, which I'm surprised about.
I
Um,
think again,
and
midfield.
apart from Andy Gorham, because I was a goalkeeper, so apart from Andy Gorham, my favourite player growing up was George Alberts.
Yeah, yeah. Again, just an anchor. Just an anchor that wasn't. The speed of Alberts as well to get to where the ball was before the player that had the ball even knew where he was going with it. That's what stands out for me. He was just always in the right place at the right time, and I think football nowadays is a lot about your mind as well, your mental factor, because you've got to think and try and predict where the player's going to go, where the ball's going to end up, and Alberts was very good at that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he was so good. He was amazing in all different types of positions as well. There's that, and you know, Toronto's spot on. To be honest, there is so many we could choose.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's why I agreed to ask the question, because I knew that it would divide opinion. And of course, Davy Robertson. When Jeffrey goes to Chelsea, bring in a Davy Robertson, you're sorted. I mean, Davy Robertson would be going to a bigger team than Chelsea and everything, because he was just that good. He was just that good. Right, folks, that was today's.
It's the question, it's the question, it's the question of the day. If you love a good question, then we're coming your way with the question of the day. Question of the day.
Any excuse just to play it again. To be brutally honest with you, any excuse. And Scott makes the point. God, we were spoiled growing
We
up.
were.
So spoiled,
We were.
man. Ah, the
I
John
think you
Alain
said
Boom
it.
song.
I think you said it on the pod a few nights back that the youth, or was it the random rabble last weekend, was player people that have grown up with the 2012 and from then haven't really seen the success that we were lucky and fortunate enough to see. So it's quite easy for them to sit back and say, "Oh well, this is Rangers that I'm used to." As for us, we're like, "Well, this is not the Rangers. This
No,
couldn't be." It's like night or day to what we were
let me
used to
show
growing
you
up.
the Rangers I'm used to. Let me show you. In fact, I won't, because you'll just end up depressed. You'll just end up really depressed. Right, folks, today's Who Am I? Right? I don't want any arguing. I don't want any moaning. If your answer's not in before 1 p.m., so you've got 10 minutes by the time I read the question out. If it's in at bang on 1, it's not counted. Right? It's just not counted. It has to be 12:59 or before. So I'll get on it and I'll read it out there now. So I spent the majority of my career in Spain, but I am probably best known for my time in the Premier League in England. I also managed to win the Euros with my country, but not the World Cup. I had a successful career in England, although I never won the Premier League title. Some say I should have got more appearances for my country, but the position I played in was very, very stacked. Who am I? Boom, multiple man. Get that. Get that. Remember, your first answer only. If you answer twice, your first answer will be taken. Your second answer will be ignored, but you may still be charged. I've always wanted to say that. Remember, you used to get when you used to have to phone into things, and they would
Yeah.
say, if you phone in after the date, your call it won't be taken, but you may still be charged. Your vote won't be taken. Oh, I've always
Good old
wanted to.
days.
Do you want-
The good old days.
Right, let me repeat it. I spent the majority of my career in Spain, but I am probably best known for my time in the Premier League. I also managed to win the Euros with my country, but not the World Cup. I had a successful career in England, although I never won the Premier League title. Some say I should have got more appearances for my country, but the position I played in was heavily stacked with quality. Who am I? That is your Who Am I of today. Get your answers in, folks. Like I say, your first answer only, please. I will only accept your first answer. Aaron, let's talk Rangers, shall we? While I wait on some of the answers coming in. Finlay Curtis has agreed to sign a new contract. I was slightly worried when both, obviously, Finlay and obviously Hadji have been offered new deals. And I'm thinking to myself, if I'm Finlay, especially, am I going to accept that? Am I going to be guaranteed the playing time? He obviously has been.
Yeah, I think you touched on it there. It's really good for the club going forward. We need to hold on to our assets, and we really have assets there with Curtis and Lovelace and Rice in particular from the B team. The problem for me is with the B team structure not being there next season. Where's the game time going to come? So, whoever the manager is needs to utilise him and needs to start utilising him now. It's great to hold on to him, but we don't want another player that's come through the ranks that we're just going to send out on loan for every season until he's no use to us really. So we really need to start integrating them into the first team and doing it now, especially while we have the injury list that we have. It's a perfect opportunity for them. There's no excuses for me why they shouldn't be starting or at least getting on at half time or getting long minutes, getting a lot of minutes, because it's great taking them on at 80th minute or whatever, but they're only getting 10 minutes. That for me isn't enough for them to develop and grow and get used to the first team setup. So we need to make sure that if we are offering these players like that contracts, that we're using them and utilising them and getting their full potential.
And I mean, look, whether you're a Rangers fan or not shouldn't really make the difference. If you're good enough, you're good enough, right? But being slightly hypocritical on what I've just said, with Finlay being a massive Rangers fan, being at the club since he was 6, if he does have the quality to play in the first team, surely it's only a benefit that he's a massive Rangers fan.
Absolutely, because he knows what the club's about. He knows the history of the club, and that comes with passion, and he knows what it's like to play in the with the Rangers B, and that's quite similar as far as matchups and pitches and stadiums and stuff as the SPFL. And we've said countless times, look at Proper. He went away and did amazing, and then he came to the Scottish Premier League, and he hasn't even been near the quality that he once was. So we need players that know the game inside and out and know the club inside and out. That's our future. That's the future of Rangers right there. And the only thing we can hold on to as fans is keeping that and utilising it and using it to build up going forward. Because what means to say in 10 years, 5 years time, he might not be worth, he might be worth triple what he is now. So that's bringing money back into the club. And that's something Philippe Clement said when one of his first ever press conferences when he was named as manager, was we need to use the youth setup. We need to get funds by growing homegrown talent. And we just aren't doing that. And he's kind of contradicted himself a wee bit, because if you are able to start or throw on Rice for his European debut away at Nice, then why is he not starting against Fraserburgh? Why is he not starting against St Johnstone? There's plenty of opportunities since then for him to get a start. Yes, take him off after 60 minutes, absolutely. But the fact he got a start can only give him the confidence.
Yeah, and just quickly for people in the comments, the who am I? Yes, he won the Euros, but did not win the World Cup. And Toronto Bear makes a point. I think Clement has been told he needs to start using them, which kind of goes along with the title or the Days Afternoon Rabble that Rangers are running out of time in the transfer market. So it's a kind of twofold question. On Finlay Curtis, I would imagine he has spoke to the club and said, look, where do you see my future? Am I part of the first team? Are you going to just sign me in a contract and put me out on loan to try and make some money on me? I don't know if he would agree to stay at Rangers on both of those terms or just simply being part of the first team. But I agree with Toronto to an extent that the club have said to Clement, you're not getting much in January, so that the youth players that you feel are good enough, you have to start using them.
Well, it's the only thing we're going to do. Our transfer window started with rumours of Ryan Kent coming back, and now it's ending with Katic coming back. So, that for me describes it in a nutshell. Exactly what our transfer window has been like. I feel we need to move forward. We need to stop trying to look back. Yes, Katic would be good because he's one of the few players in our team. Well, it's only Tav really, but if he comes in, he's won the Scottish Premiership. He knows what it takes. So for me, it might be quite a positive for the rest of the players. But we need to start looking forward and not looking back, because we're going to get nowhere doing that. These players left for a reason at the time. We need to look past that. You don't see much other clubs signing old players back very often. So I don't really know why we're doing it. And yes, we have the youth there and we've got to use them. fair enough, we're all quite downhearted that we didn't get a few more signings in this transfer window, but we knew that wasn't likely to happen anyway. So with the youth that we have, they've got potential, and they've proved it time and time again in the B team. They've come into the first team, and they haven't looked any different. They've slotted in absolutely perfect, and given it their all. You know, they've got something to prove, they've got something to fight for, and that's the players we should be playing. And what I
I
will
was
say to
just
Derek there, I'm tired. All right, I'm getting over this flu thing. I've been ill since Boxing Day, so I'm still clearing my throat. My wife's just out of hospital. I've got 5 kids. All right, so I'm shattered. All right, if I had a chance to be on anything, that would be a great thing, and that would be a break. But unfortunately for me, sleep is my thrill in life.
I was going to make a joke there, but I forgot. Sometimes there's just a joke that goes too far online, so I'm not going to make it. I'm absolutely not going to make it. Folks, listen. Remember that we are giving away a PlayStation 5. Amazingly, all you have to do is head over to Rabble Island, link in the description, and spend £50 in our store. That's it, and that's including postage and packaging. So it's like £48 plus postage and packaging. Then all you have to do is screenshot proof that you've paid. Send that to rabbleisland@gmail.com with your details, not your banking details, but your details of who you are, and you will automatically be entered into the draw to win a brand new, well, not brand, it is brand new, but the PlayStation 5 is not brand new, but you know what I mean, a PlayStation 5 that's still in the box and hasn't been used. So that's all you need to do. Spend £50 or more. I mean, if you want to go and spend £1,000, then you fire in. But spend £50 or more at Rabble Island, and you will be entered into the draw to win a PlayStation 5. All you do is screenshot to prove that you have spent it, and then send that to rabbleisland@gmail.com. And like I say, you will be entered into the draw. I want to bring up this point because, folks, I've got 2 minutes left. Well, 12:59 and 59 seconds is what you've got. So you've got just over a minute. If you get the young team to steal it, Martin. Lyndon, I will not tell you how I got a hold of the PlayStation 5. Right? I will absolutely not. I've got a super chat I'll get to in a wee second, but there was there we go. For Paul Aaron, Coppin needs massive credit so far. Do you agree?
For me, he hasn't really done anything to get credit for at the moment. He's brought in Fernandez, or he's working on recruitment and stuff. There's not much for me that we haven't really heard anything. You know, we haven't heard from Patrick Stewart since he backed the manager. We haven't really been active at all in this transfer window. So, yeah, I struggle to see what the credit is for, Paul, if I'm honest, because we were told that we would get at least 2 players in, and so far we've got 1. And we're still waiting for the second one, which is most likely looking like Katic coming back. For me, that's not really a position that was much concern for me at the moment. But I suppose if we're looking forward and the rumours about Yifty's right and whatever else, then we're going to need that player. But yeah,
What about the outgoings? What about the outgoings?
Outgoings, yeah, okay, fair enough. He's got a bit of dead weight. And I don't like to use that term for players because they're Rangers players at the end of the day, but that's what they've been. They haven't really contributed much. So as far as saving us money, yeah, absolutely. But we've got to remember these players are going to come back in the summer, and we're going to be sort of in the same situation as we are now. So if Birmingham choose not to continue with the transfers that, you know, the options to buy, so it's within their hands really. But yeah, as far as outgoings, yeah, I'll have to say he deserves credit. But incomings, I think we could have done a little bit more. Even just emergency loans, just anything right now, because where we're at as a team with injuries, with the players that we have, we're just, you know, it's a nervy time, to be honest. And we're already sitting here in February nearly, saying the league's over. And we shouldn't be. We should not have that mentality.
Well, it's
and if we
technically still January. It's technically still January.
Well, yeah, it's still January then. You know, near the end of January, we're sitting here going, the league's done. And if we have that mentality, then the players are bound to have it as well. And Clement's bound to have it. Why Clement's still there, I don't know. Yes, okay, he's picked it up a little bit, but still, it's not enough. He hasn't shown me enough to build on and move on from the Old Firm victory. We really haven't looked like that team again, really. So for me, I'm still not convinced with the manager for sure. He needs to earn our
Yeah,
trust by winning games.
yeah, the manager I get, but as CGM says, I mean, Coppins brought in Igaman, Jeffy, who are both linked with big money moves away. Obviously Chelsea looking at Jeffy, and I don't know if anybody's seen. I've been trying to be more active on social media. But there was a post put up by it's gone at my head. Square Trade, where they had Yefty in it. One of these, I don't understand it. Future cards for FIFA, and Jeffy was a 95 rated left back at Chelsea. And on that post, Jeffy liked it. So I don't know. That might not mean anything. He's obviously just seen himself as a 95 on FIFA
Yeah.
and maybe like that. But he has brought in a few players now, Aaron, who have been probably quicker than we all expected, linked with big moves away.
I suppose it's easy to forget about that two players that he brought in a way because of how frustrated we're feeling now. And I saw a comment there that we're saying about Rice. Where is it? There it is. There, like Rice and Curtis starts, yeah, but they're not defenders. They're not what we're worrying about right now. Do you know what I mean? On wingers and stuff. That yes, they've got their place in the team, absolutely. But the positions, we still need positions filled. You know, we're a few more injuries off of not having a back line at all, and that's concerning for me. So we need to be looking at that. But yeah, okay, fair enough. When you put it like that, that's fine. But it's just the way the season's gone, to be honest, and it's just been so frustrating. Igaman took a while to get up to match fitness and even start for us. So you know, he is like a new player for us, but we just have other areas of the park that we need to provide for Igaman. You're seeing it at times when he hasn't got that delivery, then he looks a bit lost. You know, when he hasn't got that service, when he hasn't got the passing, he's always making runs. He's always looking like our sharpest player. But again, I'll touch on it that the final third right now, he can make all the runs he wants. He can get in the best positions he wants, but we waste possession time and time again in that final third. So he needs that one star player like Tierney who can deliver in a pass, or a Hadji that can slip in the pass behind the defenders. But we don't always have that because the players are quite inconsistent too at times. So it's a very frustrating thing, and you know, I don't envy Clement at all, but do I believe he's the right person? Probably not.
Yeah, and I'm just the rumours about Igaman leaving seem to be hotting up. That was probably always going to be the case towards the end of the window. I would be very surprised if Hamza Igaman leaves in January. Right, just before I give you the answer to the Who Am I, Gaz, with a massive super chat. Thank you very much, Gaz. I think Clement has also been told if we're in the same position as this time next season, it's all over. I don't think Clement should have to be told that, Aaron. If we're in the exact same position next season, he's gone.
I think if we're in exactly the same position in March, you know, I mean, we can't keep going on like this. We can't settle for second best, and it's probably one of the first seasons in a long time that we've actually sat here and gone, you know, second. Yeah, like, you know, we'll be happy with second. Well, I wouldn't be happy with second. Do you know what I mean? We could, to me, finishing second, apart from the European football, but even that's up for debate now with all the changes and stuff, isn't it? I don't think it's the top two. So, you know, whether we finish sixth or second, you know, we should be aiming for first. We shouldn't be settling for second best at all. And it's just so frustrating. And I see a comment there, if I was going to bring in someone, I would bring in someone creative, someone young, someone that's got something to prove. I'm a big believer that if you take in a young player, even on loan from the Premier League, that's got something to prove, you will get the best out of them. And we just don't have anyone that's fighting right now for a position because they're getting played week in, week out because of the injury situation. So you've seen Dessers. Look how Dessers picked up since Igaman's been scoring. You know, that's no coincidence. You know, Dessers knows that there's a position there that he's got to fight for. And we're seeing probably the best version of Dessers that we've seen in a Rangers top because he's got that drive and fight.
I was on mute. Yep, yeah, look, that's fair enough. I go along with that. There's actually loads more we could talk about, but as it is the afternoon rabble, and we're already 5 minutes over, and I'm back tonight, by the way, at 7:00. Myself and David Edgar, Martin and David talk Rangers. I don't know how I came up with that title. Took me ages, but I did. That's back at 7:00 tonight, and then for members at 9 p.m. we have the Wrestling Show. which is picking up pace, by the way. Loads of people are getting into that. I think it's because Ian made everybody a character on the game, and then they had a WrestleMania night. I think he's going to do more of the WrestleMania nights. It was actually quite fun. To be fair, as somebody who is not interested in Rangers, not interested in wrestling, then it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. That's getting clipped. But anyway, they'll go mental. They'll go mental. Right, the Who Am I? Any guesses?
For me, it's difficult because growing up watching Spain win the Euros, that was kind of the team that won the Euros. They went on to win the World Cup as well. So there wasn't not really a time that I can think of in recent years that a team's won the Euros, apart from Portugal. But there's not really a team that's won the Euros and not followed it up with the World Cup that I can think of anyway.
But why are you thinking like that? Why are you not thinking that maybe the player was in the squad for the Euros and then wasn't in the squad for the World Cup?
Ah, see, yeah, you didn't actually. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we've had quite a lot of guesses, quite a lot of incorrect guesses. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to eat a bit of humble pie today because about 30 seconds after I asked the question, Thomas McCrimmon, Santi Cazorla,
yeah.
straight in me. And by the way, Multiple Man then copied him. So he did. I know for a fact Multiple Man copied him. And then Jordy copied Multiple Man.
Yeah, that was a good one. Actually, that was a good one. That was a good one. I was thinking managers for some reason. Just when you said he managed to win, I got my wires crossed there.
I'm not as smart as that, Aaron. I'm really not as smart as to come up with that kind of wordplay. Absolutely not. But yeah, Santi Cazorla it was. I think I made that one too easy. Right. Scores on the doors, man. Just do we need to see the scores? I mean, so it's 27-7 to the comments. Not 28. What are you 28 at? What you 28 at? It's 27. Don't you start me, Cammy. Yeah. Look at Martin's face. Humped again, raging. Yeah, I know, Bob. I know. I'm terrible at this. Listen, if it wasn't for Google, I'd be winning. Right, I maintain that. Although, to be fair, Thomas was straight in there. It was Santi Cazorla. I think you'll find that as a cricket score. I have seen that score in cricket. Well, Alan's saying we welcome the chase. Well, I can't catch you in 2 days, can I? So yeah, but listen, folks, we shall leave it there. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please make sure that you like and subscribe and share and all that good stuff if you enjoy the content. Like I say, next week's a massive week for the podcast as we move and reschedule and reshuffle the members' content. And there's going to be that much members' content that I don't even know if I'm going to be able to fit it all in. So I might do something on Friday. Like a winner takes all multiple man, maybe the first person to get the right answer maybe gets a well-earned pat in the back. That's about all I can afford right now. But yeah, so we've got 2 more days left of the afternoon Rabble, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the Who Am I's as difficult as humanly possible, like ridiculously difficult, like proper difficult. It will be someday feel like. Well, I'm not going to tell you actually, because that wouldn't make it that difficult, then, would it? Aaron, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's my first afternoon Rabble as well. So yeah,
is it your first one?
Yeah, my first afternoon one. Yeah, because usually I'm knee deep up in kids screaming and all the glorious stuff that comes with that. So
that's very true. That is very true. Winner gets access to Martin's OnlyFans. No, you always need to pay for my OnlyFans. You always. There's many things I will do, multiple man, but I will not do that. As Meatloaf once said, I will not do that. Absolutely not. You've just. I've already had my walk, Stephen. I go for my walk at 10 o'clock every morning. 10 o'clock for an hour, so I'm back in.
I think you meant going to get the wee one. Oh no,
I'm driving to pick her up. I've done my walk for the day. done my work for the day. Right, folks, thank you very much. Like I said, for tuning in, please do like, share, and subscribe. The more likes we get, the more YouTube passes this about. I was going to make another joke there, but it's 2025 and you can't make jokes anymore. So like, share, and subscribe, folks. I'll see you all back at 7 o'clock tonight. And then do enjoy the members do enjoy the wrestling show at 9 p.m.